Hey everyone, it's been a long while. With Dawntrail fast approaching, we have finally gotten some more concrete information about job changes from the recent live letter. Obviously, I need to talk about my main first, and it surprisingly got a lot more changes than expected. I will start off with the biggest change, the removal of Discipline Fist and Demolish and the new Form Gauge, which is not the official name, but I'm just going to call it that. Monk has always relied on its timers to determine how the player executes the rotation, and in the case of Endwalker, this led to the creation of the optimal drift rotation, where you could enter your Riddle of Fire windows in a multitude of ways without either dropping or heavily clipping your Discipline Fist and Demolish, allowing for a lot of flexibility in the rotation. The new change makes performing actions in a certain order enhance the next action, much like how Leaden Fist or Ride and Thrust on Dragoon works. Dragon Kick enhances Boot Shine once, Twin Snakes enhances True Strike twice instead of providing a Disciplined Fist buff, and Demolish enhances Snap Punch 3 times instead of putting a dot up. These are shown as little blips on the form gauge. This takes away the guesswork of what button you need to press to continue the rotation properly, as now the form gauge will let you know exactly what you need to do. The consensus of this change is it's mixed to say the least. On one hand, it dramatically lowers the skill floor, making Monk more approachable to play. For newcomers, the two biggest roadblocks tend to be positionals and timer management. Endwalker addressed positionals by reducing the amount from 6 to 2, so logically it makes sense for the devs to tackle the other in order to accomplish their ease of use philosophy. On the other hand, optimal drift is pretty much dead, which drastically lowers the skill ceiling. This is where most of the animosity comes from, but personally, while Monk will become easier to play, I don't think it will be as straightforward as people think. Now in Burst, the goal has changed from how can I fit all my GCDs without dropping or heavily clipping Discipline Fist and Demolish, to how many enhanced GCDs can I fit in this window. The optimization that could potentially come into play is entering said Riddle of Fire window with as many enhanced GCDs preloaded as possible. So while I think the burst will be fine, the real issue will stem from outside burst. Currently, with optimal drift, depending on timers, you have to preemptively think about how you will enter the Riddle of Fire window, with either a Snap 1, Snap 2, or Demolish entry. This is irrelevant now, so Monk will end up feeling a lot more automated in a sense, much like other melee. In the footage, we can see that Perfect Balance allowed the player to use Enhanced Boot Shine without needing to fill up the Opo section in the form gauge. So it is safe to say that Perfect Balance will guarantee the use of enhanced GCDs regardless of what the form gauge says. Perfect Balance always gives you access to all forms simultaneously, so it hasn't changed functionally, it's just presented in a different way now. Riddle of Fire, Earth, and Wind now all have follow-up actions. Riddle of Fire grants a ranged GCD with a circular AoE. Riddle of Wind grants a ranged GCD with a line AoE. Many people wanted range attacks for Monk, and now, well, guess we got them. Riddle of Earth grants what seems to be a heal. My hope for the heal is that it acts like Current Waltz from Dancer, where it grants a small AoE heal around the player, including themselves of course. It could also potentially be them decoupling the mitigation and healing into two separate actions, but I hope this is not the case. As for the Riddle of Fire and Riddle of Wind follow-up actions, my assumption is that they'll work much like Phantom Kamaitachi or Ninja, where after activating Riddle of Fire and or Riddle of Wind, you will be granted a buff that allows you to hold these GCDs for use anytime within the next 30 to 45 seconds. These two new actions will be fantastic for providing even more options for tackling downtime during burst windows, and could even be used for optimization during burst to push out two non-buff GCDs, that being either Dragon Kick, Twin Snakes, or Demolish, assuming the potencies make it worth using this way. Although this is just theory crafted territory now. We won't have the full picture yet until the media tour releases the tooltips around the end of May. Chakra overflow during Brotherhood has finally been fixed, thank Christ. You can now hold up to 10 chakra during this window. You don't lose any chakra beyond 5 after Brotherhood is over, however. The Chakra Gauge also seems to be more involved compared to its current iteration. Brotherhood makes the gauge glow, but then the glow stays active long after Brotherhood ends. The glow disappears after the use of the Riddle of Wind follow-up. I am unsure if this means that Brotherhood grants an additional buff, which unlocks the Riddle of Wind follow-up, or not, but this wouldn't make any sense considering the Riddle of Fire follow-up action has no such prerequisites. If Brotherhood does allow the execution of the Riddle of Wind follow-up, then that would likely make Riddle of Wind a 2-minute cooldown to match Brotherhood. I would hope this is not the case, because frankly I don't think Riddle of Wind is strong enough for a cooldown to be 2 minutes. I think it should be 1 minute, honestly. Even though it's currently 90 seconds, but yeah. Also, making you use 2 of global cooldowns to unlock a global cooldown, it just sounds odd to me. So I have no idea how it's gonna work right now, but we'll see. Another curiosity is that the enhanced boot shine granted the 6th chakra, but the enhanced true strike did not. Currently, the level 88 trait makes it so that every GCD from yourself is guaranteed to open a chakra. So logically, enhanced true strike and enhanced snap punch should have opened the 7th and 8th chakra respectively. This could mean that chakras 6 to 10 can only be opened with either crits and or siphoned from other party members. Or it could just be forcefully opened by the devs for demonstrative purposes, or that Brotherhood's trait has even more changes. There's just way too many unknowns right now, so just have to wait and see once again. Elixir Field seems to be upgraded into this blue AoE blast. I thought for the longest time that Elixir Field looked pretty goofy. It's like doing a Kamehameha towards the floor, just made no sense. So I'm pretty happy that it's getting an animation change. Since Phantom Rush is confirmed to be unchanged, Rising Phoenix will most likely stay unchanged as well. This is because both Rising Phoenix and Phantom Rush are the upgrades of Flint Strike and Tornado Kick respectively, but for some reason Elixir Field did not get an upgraded Endwalker and stayed the same from level 60 when you first unlock it all the way up to level 90. So now this new ability is the upgrade it should have gotten. The upgraded Elixir Field will also most likely match the potency of Rising Phoenix, as currently Rising Phoenix does 100 more potency at present. Obviously, I mean, we don't know the potencies right now, but all I'm trying to say is that both Blitzes will do the same amount of damage. Fixed-sided Star now compiles extra potency based on how many chakras you have opened. It is currently unknown whether chakras 6 to 10, the ones you acquire from Brotherhood, also contributes to extra potency. But now Monk actually has a way to spend chakra that's less than 5, because the only way to spend chakra right now is to get 5 to use Forbidden Chakra or nothing at all. So now there's some scaling. If we go by current potencies as an example, Six-Sided Star is a 550 potency GCD with a cooldown worth 2 GCDs. As an example, my GCD is currently 1.93 seconds, so Six-Sided Star will be times 2 of that, which is 3.87 seconds. Forbidden Chakra is a potency of 340. 340 divided by 5 is 68 potency. So that means 1 chakra is worth 68 potency. So here's a common scenario. You're at 4 out of 5 chakras, but you can't get the 5th one to open before the boss jumps. In this scenario, using Six-Sided Star would end up doing 822 potency worth of damage instead of the flat 550 it does right now. Once again, all potencies will change come Dawntrail or at the end of the meteor tour, blah blah blah. But you get the idea. It's a lot of extra damage over the course of a fight. And it also makes good use of Six-Sided Star more rewarding as a result. This is all assuming that Six-Sided Star with 0 chakras open will contribute enough damage to compensate for the loss of 2 or more GCDs during downtime. Basically like the way it is right now. My concern is that they'll end up actually making Six-Sided Star weaker at 0 chakras, and it will actually scale up once you get more chakras. But I don't know, man. That doesn't make any sense to me. I just hope they realize this, but you know, they've done worse to monks, so I wouldn't be surprised if this was another oversight, but we will see. That's pretty much everything we currently know. I'm gonna be honest, I think monk will be fine. I still prefer Endwalker Monk and Optimal Drift, for sure. But there's no denying that Optimal Drift is a massive hurdle for people to learn. It is pretty easy to get blinded once you have mastered it, but I can see why I had to go to get more people to try out the job. A very similar thing actually happened in Stormblood almost 7 years ago. Can you believe it? I can't believe Stormblood is like freaking 7 years old now. Anyway, it happened with the tornado kick rotation. If anyone here remembers that, it's been a long time. Once you mastered that, you dealt so much freaking damage compared to the traditional rotation, and it was awesome. But it's a lot of effort to learn that rotation. Most people were not gonna bother. So yeah, granted, I mean, comparing tornado kick rotation to optimal drift, kind of a moot point, because tornado kick rotation was clearly a design oversight, and that's why I had to go. But you get the idea. Monk got a bit too complicated according to the devs, so they had to simplify it. So optimal drift, bye bye. I will keep my full judgment until I play it myself, but you know, I'm more positive about the changes than not. Like, yes, the rotation changes are a bit 50-50. We don't really know the full picture, but I really like everything else, man. Like, I have literally no complaints about all the other changes that's coming, so it's a nice compromise. Anyway, I will try to make a follow-up video when the tooltips release, but you know, I got a 9 to 5 and I'm pretty knackered all the time, so please bear with me. I'll try and release it as soon as, but making videos takes time, obviously. If you got this far, I really appreciate it. Thank you for watching the video. See you again in the next one.